Thank you very much. So, as I was saying, my name is Vicente Bridges, and I'm here to talk about analytics for leaders in ocean management, the UBC Micro Certificate Program. As for our information session today, we're gonna have a program overview, and then I'll talk about the program structure, and then Vili will talk a little bit about modeling for ecosystem-based management, one course that comprised the micro credential. And also, Gabe, and after that, Tang and Gabriel talk a little bit about introduction to aquatic data sciences. And I'm gonna also talk about the bursary opportunity that we have for this course. And then we open the floor for your questions. Okay, you are also welcome to send your questions to the chat if you want. So first of all, our program is part time. It's all online, and it's aimed at enhancing analytics knowledge for sustainable and actual development of the blue economy sectors. So we believe that, like, by the use of data sciences in ocean management, professionals can make informed decisions about how to operate the diverse industries that compose the blue economy, and how to they can improve conservation and the sustainability of marine resources. Those courses are offered for professionals and researchers in marine biology, sustainable ocean management, and other sectors as well. So the program structure, we have two 9-week online courses with real-time sessions, which means that students are doing work on their own time, what we call asynchronous work, and they also do having synchronous activities. So we are gonna have weekly Zoom calls that last at least 2 hours, in which students are able to really have conversations with instructors and other students about the presence of modeling and data sciences in ocean management. We expect that students will invest 4 hours per week during 8 or 9 weeks during the course, which will comprise 36 hours per course and 72 hours to complete the micro credential. Of course, this is a very complex topic, and students can invest much more time if they want to. Generally, in the course, there are lots of content that are being offered, but in our understanding, this is for professionals that are already working, and investing these 4 hours in average per week, we understand that this will be enough to complete the course. But of course, like, people can invest much more and take more advantage of what is being offered. So as I said, we have two courses that compose the micro credential. One of them is modeling for ecosystem-based management. This will be offered by Vili Christensen, and starting in January 29, during these weeks until March 26, with 8 sessions. The time is on Wednesday from 5 to 7, and the tuition fee is $1,000, 620 Canadian dollars. So I would like to invite Vili to speak about the course a little bit and to explain in general terms how what would be offered. Vili?
Yeah, thank you, Vicente, and thank you for your interest in this. I've been teaching ecosystem modeling quite a lot for the last 30-something years, and many courses in many places. And that, to me, really indicates a dedication, taking it seriously, question about capacity building. So that's part of it. And it's also part of it is also, now part of it is also that we have some pretty good stuff to teach in this course. We're using an approach called EcoPart with EcoSim, which I've been involved in developing since 1990. And it's a very versatile modeling framework that is being used throughout the world for ecosystem-based management. Sure, it's the world's most used ecological software, and certainly for in the modeling realm. And we have recently issued, made the first, after all these years, 40 years has been going on, the first textbook focused on it, and that's what we'll be using for this course here. And I'm doing this as part of my normal UBC job, not the least because I think that this is a great opportunity to see how we can reach out to a group which is not our usual students, and also a group that it's really, I like teaching courses when people come because they are interested. So that's a good opportunity for it. The course is a little bit different from, for instance, a grad course when we're running it at UBC, in the sense that it's more compact, fewer hours. And as such, one major difference is that not focus so much about where you get the data in this course here, but more about how does this modeling work. So there'll be a lot of hands-on for where you get a model, you work with this, and you can see what can we interpret from this model. And we're going through the whole range from a static model to a time dynamic model to a spatial model. And we'll be talking about how we use that, for instance, for spatial planning. So you can see from the structure here, we're starting off, we're talking about the mass balance model. That is the foundation for the modeling. That's the one that tells us in a given year, what were the connections between the various groups in an ecosystem? That's what we're working with. And so how they're related and how are we interacting with that ecosystem. When it comes to time dynamic, we're going to look at what is the impact, for instance, of if we change management, if we fish more, if we fish less, could be examples of this, and how do we model changes over time. And when we're doing that, climate change is an important aspect. So that's why in the third week, we'll be talking about environmental impacts, how we get that into the modeling, the notion, the fact that the world is changing, that we have different conditions through the year and through the decade and over time and into the future. We'll be talking more about that, and again, running examples of it in the case studies that we're using, the tutorials we'll be doing as part of this as well. A really fundamental aspect of the modeling is trade-offs. That's what is involved in management. How do we deal with trade-offs? Because then we go from the food web into the human use of it, and there are not just ecological, but social, economic factors. So in the fourth week, we'll be talking about how do we consider those aspects. And with this, we can move on and then start looking at questions that are spatially explicit. Here in BC, they're often related to spatial planning, to how we incorporate marine protected areas as an example. So we'll be talking more about that there. And at the end of the course, the idea is that you have the foundation to do a case study, some kind. And that can be pick up on one of the things that we've been talking about in the course up to that point. It can be about taking another existing model. There are hundreds of models out there to choose from. Taking an existing model and address a question of your interest, or it could be writing a small essay about how you might be able to use this, or an essay on some of the fundamental aspects of ecosystem-based management, but maybe something along the lines of how it might fit in to your work environment. And that's more or less Oh no, the very last week, the idea is that what you have that will either you present it or present it in some form at the end there, and we'll have a discussion about it. And the way that, by the way, there's a lot of material involved in this, and one of the difficult things for an instructor is actually to figure out to find that balance between what you really would like to do and how much you're asking of the students in a class. So that balance there is important. And the way we're structuring this course here is that apart from the weekly 2 hour online session, there is an optional second 1 or 2 hour session where I will demonstrate things and take questions and discuss things. And that's going to be a pretty informal session. That will be the second one there. But that's again, that's a purely optional one. And you can, as Vijender said, you can get through this course here with that effort of these 4 or 5 hours a week. It's only 8 weeks, so 4 or 5 hours a week. And you can certainly spend much more time on it. That would be totally up to you. That's a quick overview. Vijender, back to you.
Thank you, Vili. Thank you very much for the overview. And yeah, we're gonna now move to an overview of introduction to aquatic data sciences as well. And then after that, I will talk about the bursaries and then the Q&A session with you. Just something I would like to say: the Q&A won't be recorded, so please, just after we give our general presentation about the course, I will stop the recording. Okay. So thank you very much. So now about introduction to aquatic data sciences. So after Vili's course ends in the end of March, we will have a week break, and then we start introduction to aquatic data sciences, which starts in April 9 and go into the first week of June. There will be 9 sessions held on Wednesdays, the same day, from 4:30 to 6:30. Okay, is the same fee, and I would like to invite Deng to talk a little bit about the program and also Gabriel. So um, up to you, Deng.
Hi, I'm Deng Palomares. Some of you might know me already. And I am, let's say, my career has been on databases because I was involved with Fishbase since the start in the late 1980s. And then I built Sea Life Base since 2005, in 2005. So Fishbase and Sea Life Base are two uh, global information systems that deal with fish for Fishbase and with non-fish marine um, animals in Sea Life Base. Now, this course was to provide an introduction to aquatic databases. So it's not just fish-based and sea life basic, but it's also databases like biogeographic databases like OBIS and GBIF, and other databases that make use of um, or that collect information in terms of, let's say, taxonomy, and that is, for example, the World Register of Marine Species, which actually gets the taxonomy from Fishbase for fish, because Fishbase is the world's um, authority on taxonomy, on fish taxonomy, and then worms is that's the World Register of Marine Species, is also the scientific taxonomic backbone of Sea Life Base. And so these databases, whatever they are, global species databases or databases that collect species traits, which are biological databases and biogeographic databases, they all are connected with each other, and there's a network of these databases. So um, making them basically interoperable. And so in this course, we are going to talk about interoperability, what we can get from one database might um, will most likely be complemented by other databases. So that's sort of like the introduction to aquatic databases that we are looking at here. But in this course, in the at least in the part of the course that I'm going to be handling, I will also go give you a deep dive into fish base and sea life base, and making sure that we know about the species traits, because these both fish base and sea life base contain species traits that are useful, for example, in an ecosystem model like what Billy was talking about, and can also be useful in biogeographic analysis, like what Gabriel will talk to you about later on. So that's my part of it, and I give it now to Gabriel.
Hello, everyone. So basically, my part of Introduction to Aquatic Data Science is to give 101 on oceanography and how can you access all the data that are online, download them using using R. Then after I will give some lecture on what is biogeography, how you can divide the space for management or for ecological studies. And then some concept in macroecology. So how do we understand biodiversity and the complexity of biodiversity at a global scale? What are the main rules and the main theory? And finally, an introduction on species distribution model, which is one of the most used tools, simple tools to analyze distribution of marine species. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Gabriel and Deng. So, yeah, so just to complement, like, so Deng will give the first parts of the course from weeks 1 to 4, and then Gabriel comes in weeks 5 to 8, and then in week 9, we have the final project, which is students will choose an important element of the course and will apply to their own community of practice, their contacts and what they are working on in terms of like research or sometimes professionally in their work. We really want these courses to be applicable in a sense that students can reflect about what they are doing and what is meaningful for them. uh and again, like for also the final assignment, students normally they can opt to create a presentation or to write a short essay about or sometimes to create a video. We had this course before, and there were students also producing videos. um, so this is about the program itself, and the last thing I have to say is that the IOF is offering up to 50% tuition subsidies for students. So we got a grant from the Minister of Post Future Skills and Post Secondary, and we can use these funds to support students in their I'm sorry, to support students in their career studying in the IOF. Um, the eligibility for now is for students from indigenous communities and other groups that are generally underrepresented in higher education and the blue economy, and also early career professionals. But please, if you are interested, we will see how we can use these funds, and please I will send written information about how to apply, but we will ask for a short essay, a paragraph, letting us know about your intentions, why you want to take this course, and how you relate to the eligibility criteria. And then we will assess that, see how much we have to support students, and hopefully this will be meaningful for students that want to study with us and are facing barriers to participate in the course.